going on, y'all? Yeah. We in the mix. Yes. What it do, y'all? We are here for Royal Voices Season 2, Episode motherfucking 10. Okay? We in there. Like someone. Y'all, I keep saying in every episode, I'm just so proud of myself for keeping consistency. I do want to say before we get into the show, I'm going to be re-uploading episode 9 because there was like an audio thing that I didn't even notice until like yesterday. So if you've seen that, it's still, it'll be re-uploaded. So if you could go ahead and check that out, tune that in for me, you know what I'm saying? I'll share and promote all that good stuff, but just wanted to make sure I let y'all know that. So if on the count it looked like it was off, it wasn't. It was up on time. I'm saying it here first, up on time, but the audio at the end was weird, so just re-uploading that. But welcome to the show for episode 10. If you're new here, you don't know what the hell is going on, what you're watching, what you're getting into, this is Royal Voices, the official podcast of Kvngdom, a creative hub for music, art, and fashion, especially we uplift creatives in a variety of ways through networking, education, and a ton of other things. So, with all that being said, make sure you stay up to date with everything going on with the brand, with the podcast, with the kid, on socials. You can follow the brand Kvngdom on Instagram and TikTok at KVNGDOM.co, all one thing. You can find that again on Instagram and TikTok. You can find our podcast on YouTube, TikTok, and on Instagram. It was this podcast, all one word. And then, of course, the kid, your host, on Instagram at _JAYTHEDON_. And the link tree in the bio will have access to all the other things I get involved in. Then lastly, Kvngdom.motherfucking.com. Yes. On the show. Cool. Kvngdom.com will be your one-stop shop for everything Kvngdom. You can go also get your Kvngdom essentials out now. Go ahead and use that website, KVNGDOM.com, and go ahead and get you some merch today. We got a ton of things and more things coming because we're approaching the fall. So I'm going to get into a little bit with that one. I ain't going to hold you, but make sure y'all go ahead and get y'all some drip today. So y'all, it's a lot on the docket today, and it's from politics to let's talk about a king to creative advice. It's just a lot going on. So let's jump into our first segment, which is politics. Yes, that is our politics segment music, y'all. So, y'all, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like I told y'all in season 1 of the podcast, I really did let go of the politics like around episode 5 or 6 because it was getting under my skin. And, I started to realize why I'm not a politician. But, I bring the series in this segment back to season 2 because it's important for us to understand what the hell is going on around us, especially if you are a U.S.-based individual. A lot of shit be happening. A lot of things be going on, and not only going on here, but impacts things globally. So want to make sure we talk about these things, and you know what? Make sure we informed, because people just be talking out their motherfucking ass. We are in the age of anti-intellectualism, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically people who just against intellectual thinking, common sense, comprehension skills, contextual thinking, complex thinking. It's important. Truth matters. Truth is important. We need to be more attentive to the shit we consume. So when I speak about things on this show, I always advocate for y'all to assume that I am lying. Go ahead, utilize the links I provide down below in the description below. You can go ahead and peruse on your own, but Google is free. expand upon the things that I share on today, okay? So first thing we'll get into is National Guard deployments. So just a quick synopsis before I get into this article from ABC News. Donald Trump and friends, the administration currently, are really trying to crack down on crime, how they believe it to be, and they are really encouraging the use of the National Guard being deployed within various cities and states around the United States. So I am going to share this article that I have from, again, ABC News, which again will be listed down below, so go ahead and use them if you need them. Trump suggests more cities need National Guard, but crime stats tell a different story based off of the headline. So this article reads, President Donald Trump has threatened to deploy the National Guard to Chicago, New York, Seattle, Baltimore, San Francisco, and Portland, Oregon to fight, he says, is runaway crime. Yet data shows most violent crime in those places and around the country has declined in recent years. Homicides through the first 6 months of 2025 were down significantly compared to the same period in 2024, continuing a post-pandemic trend across the United States. Trump, who has already taken federal control of police in Washington, D.C., has maligned the 6 Democratic-run cities that are all in states that opposed him in 2024. But he hasn't threatened sending in the National Guard to any major cities in Republican-leaning states. John Roman, a data expert who directs the Center on Public Safety and Justice at the University of Chicago, acknowledged violence in some urban neighborhoods has persisted for generations. But he said there's no U.S. city where there is really a crisis. We're at a remarkable moment in crime in the United States, he said. Trump might be tapping into public perception when he describes cities such as Chicago as a killing field. The vast majority of Americans, 81%, see crime as a major problem in large cities, according to a survey released this week by the AP Newark Center for Public Affairs Research. Though there is much less support, 32% for federal control of police. So I'm going to stop there. Go ahead and continue reading that article a little bit more to learn more about the things going on with the National Guard deployment. I really find it fascinating that this is something that the administration is trying to do, and specifically in areas in which has gone against Donald Trump over the years. Now, I really want y'all to understand, like I've been saying for prior episodes of this podcast, a lot of the things that really catch my eye are things that are authoritative in nature, or really not good uses of authority when you have the powers that, you wield in those presidential seats and administrative seats. Now, the things this administration has been doing is unprecedented, and we have not seen past administrations do things like this and then do so openly and so boldly in the communities in which we reside in. So I really want to touch on one more article really quick that aligns more with Chicago, because I'm from Milwaukee. If you shout out to the 414. And Chicago's like our cousin, right down the street. You know what I mean? So Chicago is right down the street. And the views of this administration is interesting, and I'll get my 2 cents in a moment. But this article from Reuters talks about political standoff intensifies over Trump's plans for Chicago crackdown. A political standoff over U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to crack down on crime and illegal immigration in Chicago intensified on Sunday as a top administration official promised to deploy more federal officers, and the Democratic governor of Illinois portrayed Trump as a threat to democracy. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told CBS News Face the Nation that U.S. immigration and custom enforcement operations in Chicago and other parts of the country would be bolstered, but declined to provide details. Noem said Trump would make any decision to deploy National Guard troops. On the same program, Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois said Trump wanted to deploy troops not only for immigration purposes, but to curb crime that just isn't substantiated, to deploy troops so that he can halt or manipulate U.S. midterm elections in 2026 as well. He'd like to stop the elections in 2026, or frankly, take control of those elections, Pritzker said. He'll just claim that there's some problem with an election, and then he's got troops on the ground that can take control. White House spokesman Abigail Jackson criticized Pritzker for not doing more to deal with crime. Chicago's residents would be much safer if Pritzker actually did his job and addressed his crime problem instead of trying to be a resistance lib hero, Jackson said in a statement. So I really want to, again, I'll add those links down below for your perusement, but I wanted to kind of tie those things together because if you notice, the first article discussed how statistically crime throughout the United States has been on a downward trend and is significantly lower in comparison to last year. Same thing goes for Chicago, another area where crime has been on a decline. Now, my personal take on this thing, don't get me wrong. As I have grown up in Milwaukee and, been in the streets with the shits, I feel like crime has always existed, right? Crime has always existed throughout the cities. And, being a kid, being a teenager, I never really thought about what contributed to, gang violence, what contributed to street violence, what contributed to just random acts of violence, what contributed to, crash outs. I didn't really think about it a lot. I just knew where we were in the city, and I knew, okay, operate this way, act the fuck right. Sometimes you got to get bugged, but that's just, that's just the city. That's part of the culture of Milwaukee. Now, as I started to get older and started to travel outside of Milwaukee and outside of the city, I often laugh and tell my friends, a lot of states, a lot of cities is just Milwaukee in different city formats. Like just like in my mind, Cleveland, Ohio is Milwaukee because it's like, it's the same aesthetic, same demographics, same, the streets just look different. You know what I'm saying? But Baltimore, another city, Chicago, Detroit, all of these areas that people are so afraid of. And you know what I started to realize through my travels? Some of these areas are crimed, yes. But there's crime in every state. There's crime in every city. Now, the questions I would love people to start posing, right, is one, who gets the attention when crime is happening? Who's the focus on? One big thing I think we often forget is that Black and urban communities are over-policed. Statistically, this can be shown and backed through our prison stats. This is shown through the level of incarceration of Black and brown people. This is shown through the level of traffic stops that happen to Black and brown people simply just living, existing, and driving a car. These things are factors. But when these reports come out, when these statistics and stuff come out, we have to think about the inflation and what's not being included in that information. On top of that, we have to stop, again, making words synonymous. Black does not mean criminal. I'm saying this because today Donald Trump had a Oval Office speech. Very lackluster, very nothing that really was like, oh, we needed to do this now. Because, again, the nigga started an hour late, about 20, 30 minutes. It wasn't really long. And on top of that, half the conversation was about building, was it a space something in Alabama. Like this very strong focus about the battle in the skies. And I'm like, y'all, there's so many other priorities right now. But it was a comment that Trump made about the crime and how Washington D.C. is now a safe zone. As of 12 days ago, it's now a safe zone. And he was like, these people are a lot of urban communities, a lot of spaces, they're criminals. They're criminals. They'll kill you. They'll cut your throats and stab you. And they're born criminals. They're born to be criminals. If that speech, if that comment did not give you anything, if that wasn't reminiscent of any point in history to you, something's wrong. Because that was a clear and, direct visual and statement that shows the villainization this administration puts around POC. It started with Hispanic folks and Latinos, right? With the whole all these immigrants are, they're rapists and they're thieves and they're drug lords and criminals. We have to get them out of here. Now it's black people, and we're going back to the same stereotypical traits that white people and white supremacy has always upheld and enforced. So as we read these things, National Guard deployment is a measure that hasn't been done before. And I really think we have to consider all angles before simply just deploying enforcement, right? You have to think about rehabilitation programs. You have to think about city funding. You have to think about police, the regular police funding. You have to think about what else is going into these statistics. And for those, just really quick so I can sum this all up, for those who don't understand, crime is directly related to low income. Crime increases when poverty increases. Historically, people go out and commit crime because of lack of resources. So because they ain't got no food, because they ain't got no shelter, because they have no healthcare access, because they're not able to live, they go and do things like homicides, like carjackings, like robberies. These are all tied to lack of resources. Don't get me wrong, some crash outs for no motherfucking reason. But crime has direct correlation, direct causation to poverty. So keep that in mind as y'all read these things, and before you start trying to just add more police and throw more monitoring and security and observation into some shit, think about what's actually going on in those spaces. Because again, Chicago is not you just walking outside and you get shot, despite what the president may be telling you. Milwaukee is not a city you just walk outside and get shot, despite what the president might be telling you. Same with Baltimore. Same with Washington, D.C. collectively. Same with Detroit. These are not cities you just walk outside and get shot. Okay? Same with Los Angeles. All right? Things happen. Don't get me wrong. But we have to be careful with the overestimates we're making, with the over assertions these administration is doing. And I do agree with the governor, mayor of Chicago. Donald Trump and friends are slowly trying to push and see what they can fuck with to better and strengthen his regime. Y'all gonna fuck around and find out, and it's gonna be too late. So be attentive to these things, and as this story continues to develop, I will keep y'all posted, okay? So next up, we have redistricting. So just to do a quick recap, and I'll read a brief article, but from prior episode, I'll let y'all know the redistricting going on in Texas. If you are not caught up, Democrats fled Texas in efforts to stop Republicans in Texas from gerrymandering, basically redistricting things in order to get more House seats before the midterms of 2026. If you are also listening, the governor, mayor, Mr. P, from the last article I just read, he was also saying these are efforts Trump is trying to do to, rig elections and control an election space. Because again, he's targeting large Democratic spaces because they're not following suit with what the hell he wants to do. So Texas did, when the Democrats came back, they did go ahead and redraw them damn maps. Unfortunately, it's not. I'm not surprised, but it's sad to see. But you know who said "LOL, say less"? Gavin Newsom. Yes. Gavin Newsom is a key because one thing he gonna do is play. One thing he gonna do is play. So he went ahead and started redrawing some maps too in California to offset the things Texas is doing. And now this is starting to kind of slowly build momentum throughout the United States. I saw an article recently about Utah wanting to do the same thing and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article to you really quick from Politico, just so y'all understand how far the reach of these things go. So this article headline reads, Netflix co-founder drops $2 million into Gavin Newsom's redistricting campaign. So Netflix co-founder and Democratic mega donor Reed Hastings has given $2 million to help California redraw its House maps in the latest indication of the campaign's outside stakes. Hastings is a stalwart supporter of Democratic causes and an ally of Governor Gavin Newsom, who has championed the push to counter Texas GOP gerrymander with the new map design to oust California Republicans. He also spent $3 million to help Newsom beat back a recall attempt in 2021. A November 4th special election will give Californians an up or down vote on new House maps drawn in concert with national Democrats that would help Democrats flip half dozen seats in next year's midterm elections as the party seeks to neutralize Texas' new lines. Enormous sums have already poured into both sides of a race that has thrusted California into the epicenter of American politics. Labor unions, wealthy Californians, and House Democrats super PAC have already contributed millions of dollars, while an affluent independent redistricting advocate, Charles Munger Jr., has dropped more than $10 million to defeat the measure. I'm going to pause right there. Y'all go ahead and continue reading this article because, again, it goes a little bit deeper. But I wanted to share that just because I want y'all to realize the reach politics goes into, right? You have the co-founder of Netflix going against this redistricting plan because it's beyond just money. You know what I'm saying? It's beyond just political things. This will make serious and significant impacts. And if any party is able to just redraw some shit in the efforts to take in extra seats, extra spaces and authority, in efforts to kind of bombard a election that ain't even here yet, that's crazy shit. And I also want y'all to understand the efforts going into this, because Texas redrew the maps under the ask of Donald Trump. So if you have a president and administration that are willing to operate this way for a midterm election, why do y'all think people were operating fairly for a presidential election?
Jesus.
When I say everybody corrupt, I mean that. Everybody corrupt and everybody needs to go to fucking jail.
What's going on? Y'all are going to jail. Period.
It's ridiculous. It's at a point where it's like, I realize the Democrats are fighting back in a sense, but it's like, y'all, this is the state of our politics. This is the state of our government. You got old motherfuckers. Respectfully to all the people, no ageism here. But you got people who too damn grown acting like this. Acting like this. This is crazy. I've seen teenagers. I work with college students. I'm 27. I work with college. I work with students who work better than this. Okay? This is crazy to me. This is just crazy to me. But the redistricting efforts, we'll see how these things play out, because it sounds like people trying to get their ducks in a row for the midterms of next year. So y'all, even though I be feeling my way about voting and stuff like that, it's important. So y'all, please go and vote. Y'all see the efforts being put in to remove your voice, to remove your contribution to the shit going on in the world we live in. And to people, and this is why I said my view about voting, I had to change. At first, I had to thought about our vote didn't matter. If our votes never gave a damn, never really mattered, all of these theatrics we're seeing, from the redistricting, from the millions and millions and billions of dollars going into campaigning, into House seats, into Congress seats, into governor and mayor, all of these things, it clearly got some impact. So with that being said, go vote. Make sure you stay up to date with where the hell your polling locations are, because you may have people in your state, in your city, operating against your best interests. So be up to date with who the hell is running. Be up to date with what the hell people are advocating for, and maybe read beyond a headline. The headline is designed to grab your attention and make you say, "What the fuck?" But when you read, when you read the body of what the hell you have the headline above, you may learn, wait a minute, hold up, this is a whole different thing. So go ahead and read, go ahead and vote, and y'all, it's important now more than ever to go do so. So please be cautious. Shit is crazy. Now, last for our politics segment, we have the CDC versus JFK Jr. Now, y'all, I'm going to try my hardest to not be disrespectful to this man. Okay? I'm going to try my hardest to not make no jokes. I'm going to try my hardest to not make no kiki ha-ha, because I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this man. Is something's wrong with this man? If he has a disability, I don't know. Okay, it's just I want to be respectful, and I don't want to play if he do have a disability. But y'all, this man running all things health for this country is a motherfucking key. And that's where I'll leave it. So this this headline article reads, former CDC heads warn Kennedy is endangering the lives of Americans. It reads, 9 former directors of the CDC under Republican and Democratic presidents, under Democratic and Republican. So remove the political bias. It ain't even there, because they both represent it. Republican and Democratic presidents warned on Monday that the decisions made by U.S. Secretary Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr., culminating in the firing of CDC's director, are putting Americans' health at risk. The warning, laid out in a guest opinion essay in the New York Times, comes days after the Trump administration fired Susan Monarez less than a month into her tenure, and 4 other directors resigned in protest, deepening disarray at the nation's main public health agency. Monarez had refused to adopt new limitations on the availability of some vaccines urged by Kennedy, saying they went against scientific evidence. The 9 essay authors include Dr. William Foege, Foege, who served as director of the CDC from 1977 to 1983, to Dr. Mandy Cohen, who led the agency from 2023 to 2025, said all of Kennedy's moves to shake up U.S. federal health agencies, from firing thousands of employees to replacing health advisory board members to ending global vaccination programs, put all Americans at risk. The quote is, "We are worried about the wide-ranging impact that all these decisions will have on Americans' health security," they wrote, adding the rural communities and vulnerable populations will be most at risk. This is unacceptable, and it should alarm every American, regardless of political leanings, they wrote. I would encourage you again to go read the rest of that article. I added this in here because when Trump and France got into office, they rolled back a lot of verification, security, and, preventative measures when it comes to the FDA and the CDC specifically. Now, these are 2 government agencies designed with the full focus of making sure the food you eat, the drugs you take for ailments, if that's simple as Tylenol or as advanced as chemotherapy or whatever else things you may need to physically be okay, have been established for. Now, when you have an administration come in, and this is, I recently learned, one of the 14 points of fascism, when you have an administration come in and basically invalidate the research and scientific proceedings of scientists and researchers and doctors. That is actually an effort to break trust with the American, with people, specifically with American people, when it comes to the things in which we operate in safely. The thing about it, and I think what JFK is taking me out, is this man has no knowledge of the shit he's touching, like most of Trump's cabinet. He has no knowledge of how vaccines work. He actually believes vaccines cause polio. It's spooky to see people who have no motherfucking knowledge in these things actually drive the boat for these things. I recently saw a video campaign that he's trying to do with getting America fit. And he has people, sign up for camps and shit to do push-ups and exercise. But it made me laugh because I'm like, when Michelle Obama told y'all to eat some turnips, when Michelle Obama said, hey, maybe we should have some healthy school lunches, y'all dragged her by her lace front. Y'all dragged her by that voluminous hair. Y'all dragged her. So it's just crazy to see these things actually be implemented. And the concern I have is when you don't have a center of disease control that sits not only on a national level, but on an international level in efforts to stop the spread of illnesses and detect things early and, create vaccinations and game plans if some shit was to hit the fucking fan. When you are removing the guardrails for that, you are creating a space for turmoil. And I really cannot believe that people feel some kind of way so deeply, all because I was told to wear some motherfucking masks during the pandemic of COVID. Y'all are really upset. Y'all were forced to wear masks and were asked to get vaccines. It's truly weird. And just to see how those things have progressed years after the heaviness of COVID has kind of concluded, y'all go around today still believing vaccines don't work. You're not immune because you have a vaccination. A vaccination is simply a barrier of protection. So you are less likely to contract said sickness or illness. You are more protected internally to fight off the illness if you do contract the illness, and you have a higher success rate of living. That's what the COVID vaccine was, okay? Same thing when it comes to the flu shot. Same thing when it comes to the hepatitis shot. Y'all have to think about how you consume these things, because y'all are putting yourself at risk. And not just with vaccinations and drug immunizations and things like that, but like the food. When you don't have people doing quality control checks to make sure, okay, ain't no motherfucking bugs in that, you good. All right, that milk is clean. Okay. Yep. That ain't got no listeria. Yep, that ain't got no salmonella. You good. When you don't have the checks in place to make sure these things, you are opening yourself up for mass issues, by state, by region, by the nation. If anything was taught to us during COVID, is y'all need to realize certain shit the world ain't prepared for. The world ain't prepared for, and certain shit can hit the fan, and I mean in a matter of weeks. The world could shut down. The world could be done. I kid y'all not, I was on a trip. When COVID started, I was coming home from Vegas. Toe up, had a time. Had a time in Vegas, baby. Plane landed that week. This was at the end of February, going into March. That first week of March, I got an email saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and just stop school in person, right, for the next few weeks, because this COVID shit getting crazy. A few days passed. Actually, we going to go ahead and shut down school. So y'all good to go. You going to get your transcripts in the mail. If you're graduating, congratulations. You're not getting a graduation, but you have graduated. If them credits make sense, we're going to go ahead and email you and mail you your mail you your diploma and say have a great time via email. Then be blessed. And I kid you not, days after that, the world was shut down. And we was shut down for 2 years. 2 motherfucking years. People ain't want to be around each other. Bitch, if you had a... I kid you not. You couldn't breathe funny next to a motherfucker. Bitch, you got that shit? You couldn't breathe funny. That all that happened, that acceleration happened in a matter of 2 months. February, March. By April, streets were quiet. You would have thought zombies came in this bitch. It was quiet. So just keep that in mind. And as you have people in these places making these decisions, think about their knowledge base and how they are validating things. Because at the rate this man is going, we're going to have another pandemic on our hands. God saying something else. Knock on wood. With the way he's operating, he going to put people at risk. Either through food or through a sickness, an illness. And y'all, winter coming. Winter coming, so make sure I got y'all flu shots. Make sure I got them COVID vaccinations. I only had 1 shot. I ain't get both of them, but I got one a few years ago. I'm gonna try to get it again, child, just to make sure everything okay. And just take care of yourselves. If you don't trust, vaccinations and stuff, at least do some healthy stuff. Elderberry, hell, B12. Vitamin D, I don't know. Make sure you take your supplements or something. But y'all, please take care of yourself and think about how your involvement in things and your preemptiveness to take care of you can impact the folks around you. Because when you're taken care of, they're taken care of. And we ain't got to be concerned about being in close quarters. Why? Because we vaccinated. All right? Y'all be safe out there in them streets. Now for our next segment, let's go ahead with the Let's Talk About It with King. Gave it they all, but that shit was short-lived. Oh, I love that song, y'all. I can't find hear any music. Scary Hours coming October 31st. Anyway, so y'all, we have a few things on this docket today as well. So first we have, which I think is the biggest key, Cardi B is in court, y'all. Yeah, she's in court. Y'all, now this was really surprising to me. I didn't know what the hell. I was scrolling on TikTok one day, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? It was a video of showing Cardi B doing her testimony, and I'm like, what you testimony? What you testifying for? So I pulled up this article really quick to give y'all a quick synopsis and breakdown. Cardi B's charismatic court testimony goes viral on TikTok. So really quick, we're going to go ahead, because Cardi is a key, y'all. She really is. So clips of Cardi B giving testimony in court are going viral on TikTok, with the rapper on trial for alleged assault of a security guard. While Cardi's trial is still ongoing, she seems to be winning in the court of public opinion, with social media praising the rapper for her charisma on the stand. Now, this is the reason as to why she's actually on trial. Cardi B is accused of by a security guard named Imani Ellis of assaulting her in a Beverly Hills. Y'all, I promise y'all I have a college degree I can read. I just don't know all these damn words. Obstetrician? OBSTETRICIAN. Office in 2018. That sound like one of them lady part doctors, one of them vagina doctors. Ain't that a OBGYN? OBGYN, is that the same thing? I don't know. Cardi claims that the two got into a verbal altercation after Ellis allegedly started recording the rapper in the hallway of the doctor's office without consent. Cardi was pregnant at the time and intended to keep her pregnancy private from the public. Claims that she said the rapper's name aloud when she spotted her, but denied filming her. Ellis claims that the altercation got physical and alleged that Cardi spit on her and cut her cheek with her fingernails, leaving her deeply traumatized. Cardi claims there was no physical contact and that the conflict was purely verbal. Ellis is seeking $24 million in damages from the rapper. So I'm going to put that link down below for y'all to continue from Forbes. Y'all, Cardi is a key. Cardi has always been the key since she was on TV, since she started doing social media. Y'all, Cardi has just been funny, it's just in general, just a funny person. Now, this story is interesting to me because the trial, I really don't understand how this trial is going on. I really personally don't understand. From the videos I've watched about it, I saw Cardi B testimony. I saw Imani Ellis's testimony. I saw her mom testify, and I also saw the grandma of her testify. If I'm not following, right, this my question is this. If we are at a doctor's office, right, and you are a security guard at said doctor's office, and you're recording people, one, ain't that a violation of FARPA, HIPAA? One of them violations is in place because you at a doctor's office. You shouldn't be recording nobody at a doctor's office. Let's start there. Second, the security guard, right? You didn't record her, but you screamed her name out. That don't add up to me because if you yelling, that's one thing. If there's a video, there's footage, there's evidence, there's video evidence of you recording. On top of that, I really can see Cardi spitting on this lady. Can y'all see her doing that? I can see Cardi spitting on that lady. I can see that Cardi cussing people out. But the Cardi we have now, ever since she had Culture, I feel like this Cardi's a lot more restrained in the sense. Like she ain't as I'll smack a bitch. Like she ain't as on ass. They did clock she leaked her pregnancy. Well, it wasn't a leak because girl, we knew, but she talked about it more on a trial stand. I found it funny when they was talking about Cardi's facial reactions and stuff. But what I think is creating these things is because the lawyer, the attorney that Ellis has, that the Imani Ellis has, that's not a good lawyer. I don't know what the hell that attorney got, but that attorney got personal beef with Cardi, it feel like. Because the questions he be asking her, I know recently they asked about her hair because she wear wigs, and I guess over the last few days, I know Cardi give a look. Even when I had to go do that little ting for my fraternity, and had to go stand before the body, I went ahead and I had on my car. I had Cardi B in my head when it came to the court outfits. You know what I mean? You gotta come with her. You have to come with a I stand before the jury today type fit. You know what I mean? So I get it. In her aesthetic, she's going to do the same thing. She's a fashion girly, so she's going to make sure she gives a look that includes your hair. And the attorney been asking her questions like, why do you change your hair? What kind of conditioner do you use? He didn't say that one, but that's the key. He been asking things like, did you call my client fat? Well, what did you call her? Why would you say that? And Cardi responses are just like, duh. Why would you call her fat? You can see. I personally, just from the videos that I've seen, I don't think Ellis is going to win this case because it sounds like she's trying to get a check. Her whole testimony was she's emotionally traumatized and depressed and she just don't have a spark of life no more. And I'm like, girl, she didn't do nothing to you. Y'all didn't fight. Y'all didn't get into no squabble. Y'all ain't squabble over none of that. It just don't make no sense. And on top of that, you are recording her in a doctor's office. The doctor even testified on behalf of Cardi. So it's like, I think she gonna lose this case, and I hope she do because the testimonies that I've seen, even with your grandma, love the old ladies. You know, it was a cute moment. But girl, nobody had any actual information. Nobody had any actual, thing. They just all say, yeah, you been sad. Yeah, she been sad. I just noticed she used to be so out there, but recently she's just been so quiet and reserved. I'm like, girl, there's no way you all in the shadows and deep down and depressed because Cardi B cussed you out for recording her at a doctor's office, and you want $24 million. I just feel like if you wanted a trip to Dubai or something, if you wanted to go to Aruba, you could have just said that. But this story just feel like a lot of baloney. Feel like a lot of bullshit. My spirit is telling me Cardi gonna win this, cause what the hell? What the hell, Leontay?
What it do? It's Josh from the editing room. Psych, the editing space. However, I have to come in here and say, because the judge also thought that that case was some bullshit, because Cardi won the case. So, fuck justice in the streets.
Cardi did call that lady. She can protect the building. She can protect the building. You know, she can protect the building. And it is funny, but I really just think this girl just wants some money. So we'll see how this thing goes and how it proceeds in court, y'all. So next up, we have Lil Nas X, y'all. Now I'm gonna do this one with some caution, not just because of the topic, but because I think this brings a bigger conversation to the forefront, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But Lil Nas X is currently in the headlines and has been for the last few weeks or so for a few things. Now, I'm gonna give a disclaimer. Despite me giving some grace to this story, I'm still going to say what the fuck I want to say. And I'm still going to be transparent as I've been when it comes to Lil Nas X over the last few years. From Montero to Old Town Road to all the things Nas has done. Lil Nas, let me clarify, Mr. X has done, because I still feel it has relevance today. So first, Lil Nas X was spotted walking down, I believe, a street in LA, and I think the article talks about it a little bit as well, but he was walking down the street in his tighty whities and some cowboy boots, just walking down the street, and somebody was recording him, and he was like, "Why ain't you at the party? Stop recording. Why you at the party?" Like he visibly clearly looked like he was coked out. A little tea. It reminded me of that scene from Friday when Smokey had that one joint that really was like laced the cave, and he was right down the street, but booty ass naked. It's giving that. So this article I'm pulling up today, because that did result in Lil Nas being arrested, and going from there. So this article comes from today. Lil Nas X dad shares heartbreaking encounter with son after his arrest. So this article reads, Lil Nas X father has spoken out after his son's recent arrest. The two-time Grammy-winning musician, whose legal name is Montero Lamar Hill, was arrested and taken to a hospital on August 21st in Los Angeles. The arrest came after he was found walking on the street without clothes and charged at officers. He was subsequently charged with 4 felonies after allegedly injuring officers amid the arrest. Lil Nas X briefly addressed the incident on social media, sharing a video on his Instagram telling his fans that he was going to be okay, per NBC News. The father's Robert Stafford also addressed his son's recent arrest in an interview he had with the Sunday Times. During the interview, he cited the pressure his son was under to continue to achieve the same level of success in his career, having to provide for his family, and his fears about his mother's struggling with addiction. He understands how the music business is, Stafford told the publication. It's like a high. When you get to that level, you want that drug again. You want to hit that high again. He added, for a 26-year-old to have to deal with what he's dealing with, to be a breadwinner for a lot of people, the inability to change his mother's situation and the pressure he puts on himself. Effort said that he was able to visit his son in jail, but when he walked through the door, he couldn't do anything but cry. So I'm going to put this article down below once again for you to further read and get into. But when I say I'm gonna tread lightly, I'm gonna tread lightly because I do feel there is personal mental health issues going on here. I also feel there's also manipulation. There's artist manipulation here as well. Yeah, so I feel that way, but I got to be transparent, y'all. Now, I have said on this podcast before, I think there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes of the music industry that which we don't talk about. I also understand the spin of publication and PR, the job that they do. I also understand music labels. I also understand how, things can be presented one way and be another. Now, I really believe Lil Nas X is a stunty person, okay? His career has been stunts. Outside of Old Town Road, which I feel like that was organically a sense of him in a sense, but to see the way he's portrayed himself, the music industry has portrayed him, and just to see how he's grown, I feel like he's not always the most authentic, and I feel his labels and backing team drives him and enables him to not always be that authentic. On top of that, he is a younger person. He's literally a year younger than me. So he is in a space that a lot of people don't deal with, a level of fame and stardom that a lot of folks do not have, especially at that level. And on top of that, you are kind of, I don't want to say falling off, but you kind of you're quieting down. And I feel with that, with that in effect, that can be a lot on your mind. And as a person as I am, I have that sense of carrying the world on my back, the city on my back, that kind of mentality. I've always had that mindset. My family has always told me, like, Josh, you can't be Superman to everybody. You can't help everybody. You can't always help us. You can't always do everything. But bitch, I'ma try. Bitch, I'ma try, and I don't give a fuck. One thing about it, I understand the pressures of wanting to make sure everybody around you is good. Make sure you look like you're doing good. Make sure you feel like you're doing good. Make sure you've given it up how you've always given it up. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that account always sitting. Make sure that fit always given. I know how that feels. And that pressure, if anything slips, can feel isolating. Because it's like, okay, if I'm helping everybody, who gonna help me, right? If I'm helping everybody, I can't look like I need help, right? Because then why would I be helping them if I can't myself? That's a load that a lot of younger people carry on their shoulders, especially when you've reached out and got to a level of success beyond people around you. You know what I mean? So I understand that wholeheartedly, but I also recognize how the industry plays, right? And I also, just watching Lil Nas' career, recognize the stunts he pulls. So I believe in part this was partly a stunt. I do. I really, really do. But I also feel part of this was a mental health breakout, like a breakdown type thing. And to be quite honest with you, if I was driving down the street, saw this man walking butt booty ass naked outside without no clothes on, you should have got out the car and put some clothes on that man, or at least wrapped him up in a blanket or something. Yeah. I think sometimes folks forget celebrities and people in the limelight or influencers, all that, are actual people with families, moms, dads, grandmas, granddads, brothers, sisters, uncles, partners, girlfriends, husbands, whatever the fuck, just like you. So the same way you stress about paying your damn bills, you stressed about making sure the kids get to school on time, you stressed about making sure you got food to eat, got a roof over your head, all that good shit, they're doing the same thing. And I think because people are in the spotlight, that gets eroded on sometimes. They're doing the same shit. Yeah, they may have more money or more access to resources, but that just means they got bigger motherfucking bills, okay? So the same way you struggling and worried about paying your rent on time, on social media, it may look like they own that motherfucking house, but that mortgage is $25,000 a month. You get what I'm saying? It may look like they own that motherfucking Rolls Royce, but that car note, that car note will whoop some hoes' ass for real. It's one thing for social media. It's one thing for the world and media outlets to put out, but it's another in actuality. A lot of your faves is actually broke. A lot of your faves is actually crack addicts and coke addicts. A lot of your faves have drug abuse issues and alcohol issues. A lot of your faves are struggling in real life, but you would never know looking at their Instagram. You would never know watching a new movie that just came out. You would never know playing that album that just dropped, you would never know. So I'm praying for Nas, Lil Nas X, to make a full recovery. I'm praying for his safety, his mental health as you navigate this career space, as you navigate your career in general, and being able to be okay with the ebbs and flows of stardom. I think one thing today that we didn't have from prior generations is social media, right? These type of things, this pressure, this level of pressure is something millennials didn't have to deal with as rampant, and people before millennials ain't have to fucking think about, because they didn't have a phone in their hand. They couldn't access people 24/7. They didn't have to worry about AI. They didn't have to worry about chatbots. They didn't have to worry about think tanks and stuff on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. They didn't have to worry about picking up a device in their own home and seeing millions upon millions of people talking about them, for good and the bad. So I want us to keep that in mind with these younger artists, with new people of today, because it's a layer that never existed. And not only are you balancing that stardom, your family, your personal, all those things, you now have to worry about AI. You now have to worry and think about labels and independent artists. You have to now worry about all of these things that nobody before you had to think about. They can't really give you advice on it. If they still popping and stuff today, they've adapted to certain things, but there's still a lot of things that go over their motherfucking heads as well. So prayers go up to Lil Nas X, praying for your family, and I'm hoping that, things look up for you. And I think they will. But take care of you first and foremost every single time. So next up, we have Snoop Dogg and homophobia. Yeah. I wasn't going to talk about this because I didn't think, one, respectfully love some Snoop, but child, it's Snoop Dogg, girl. I didn't give a damn. Listen, old ass man. Anyway, love Snoop Dogg though. Legendary, iconic, tactful, blueprint, key of hip hop. Okay, I'm gonna say that once again for the hoes in the back who think I'm playing. A key to a lot of master locks within hip hop for sure to this day. That legacy is untouchable. I'm sorry, but I'm hopping on your ass today, Snoop. I am. So Snoop Dogg's team reportedly claims his apology for LGBTQIA plus criticism is fake. So this was brought to me. I don't check for Snoop Dogg a lot. I wasn't looking into this, but this was sent to me by one of my friends, and they really want my take on it. So, this controversy stems from Snoop Dogg's comments on a lesbian couple featured in the 2022 Pixar film Lightyear. Y'all, so this... Okay, I'm just gonna get it. This article was written as of September 1st, 2025. Snoop Dogg has been a superstar for decades, so he knows as well as anyone that whatever celebrities say can quickly get them into hot water. He recently faced backlash for some comments made about the LGBTQ community representation in kids' movies, which he allegedly apologized for on Instagram. However, we say allegedly because Long Beach MC's team reportedly claimed that the message was fake. According to the Hollywood Reporter, I was just caught off guard and had no answers for my grandsons. The message read, all my gay friends know what's up. They've been calling me with love. My bad for not knowing the answers for a 6-year-old. Teach me how to learn. I'm not perfect. Furthermore, this is an odd reported claim from Snoop's team since the comment came directly from his official Instagram account. It's unclear who's really behind this or what's really going on. But with the latest development, we will have to see if he addresses it in the near future. Now, his issue specifically For those who are unaware of what the hell going on, because again, I didn't even know this was a story until my friend sent it to me, so I thought this was something else that was later discussed. Here's what Snoop Dogg said about taking his grandson to see the Pixar film Lightyear, which at one minuscule point features a lesbian couple and their child. Now, y'all, if you've seen the movie Lightyear, I kid you not, this scene is less than like 30 seconds. Anyway, my grandson in the middle of the movie said, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. He said on the It's Giving podcast with Sarah Fontaine. Oh shit, I didn't come here for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Shh, the movie ain't over yet. He said, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of that shit and that I don't have an answer for. It threw me for a loop. These are kids that we have to show that at this age, they're going to ask questions. I don't have the answer. Now, Snoop, and I'm saying this to a lot of all the older black men, Boosie, 50 Cent, a lot of niggas that's been in this space for years. Okay, and honestly, I'm going to just talk to my black man in general. My black man, because this next article topic we're going to get into, talk about this too. Black man, I need y'all to find peace in your femininity. Now, for those who are not of the black community, the culture around the LGBT community has always been a toxic thing, right? I remember being a kid and hearing men around me talk. The consensus they all had around LGBT shit was, keep that shit away from me. I ain't with that gay shit. I've heard that shit so much. Moving around. I ain't with that gay shit. Don't be coming up on me. I ain't like that. You can't make me like that. And it was even worse because, I was born in 98. So it was even worse prior to that. You know what I'm saying? And it was a comical thing to be made fun of, especially in hip hop, especially even today in street life. Right? Being gay? What? Bitch, what? People would get jumped, killed, beat, baby, dragged for being gay. And as I grew older and started realizing the consistent comments, white people sometimes would exude and would talk about, the conversation that they would have would be so like baseless, nothing really rooted in belief system, just more so things that they didn't quote unquote fuck with. On top of that, the weaponization of Christianity really drove that piece home too. So people not only had a personal issue, but then they would make it a spiritual issue. God said it's only Adam and Eve. God said it's Adam and Eve. God didn't do. God said only women. And as I got older and started hearing people out, I started realizing there's a consistent thing behind people who usually think like that. And I might ruffle some feathers with this one, but my black man, I'm talking to us right now, my black man. Some of y'all are just gay. And that's okay. Be who you are. It's okay. I'm a real spiritual person, and I firmly believe God creates people exactly how they need to be. And the mindset that this is a choice, that being gay or being lesbian or trans or anything like that is a choice, has always baffled me, because the question that nobody can ever answer is, if being gay, being trans, being in the LGBT community at all was a choice, why would people choose to be persecuted? Why would people choose to be abandoned at teenage years, at kid years, as an adult? Why would people choose to put themselves in harm's way in community spaces that they're not supported in? If it was a choice, why would people go out of their way to bring harm to them? With the rhetoric and understanding we have around how people feel about the LGBT space, why would people intentionally place themselves in that community? You get what I'm saying? On top of that, it's a lifestyle. I've never understood that either. It's not a lifestyle. It's just who you are as a person. The same way people who are straight didn't choose to be straight. The same thing exists with gay people and lesbians and stuff like that. People didn't choose to be gay. People didn't choose to be lesbians. That's just who they are. And if you ask me, my personal hot take, be mad about it, I don't give a fuck. People who are trans are a true representation that God exists. And I'm saying that because trans people can grow up and live in a life that they feel disconnected internally with who they are anatomy-wise. That to me, from a spiritual context, gives me a belief that reincarnation is a thing and people, souls, have lived multiple lives. So I really do believe and have the stance that people who are trans are having a spiritual response to a physical embodiment. Because in a prior life, they could have been Susan. In this current life, their name is Joseph. They're a man in this one, there was a woman in the last one, and I believe there's some spiritual residue that lingers because your soul is everlasting. Your spirit is everlasting. Energy cannot be destroyed. It simply transfers. So if that person passed away as Susan and they reincarnated as Joseph, I can see it making sense as to why Joseph feels like Susan. That spirit is not confused. That spirit is not none of that. It's residue, I feel, from prior existence. And that alignment that they want to have in this one just aligns with what they had in the prior one. That's how I view it. I don't have an issue with people's pronouns. You shouldn't have an issue with people living a life, minding a business. I never understood this focus around sexuality, this hyper focus, but specifically in the Black community, it has always been something that's been looked down upon, something that has made you less than. You're not a man. You're not this. You're not that because you're gay, because you're. I've never got that. But like I said before, it's always boiled down to the same character types. Most of the time, people who hoop and holler and yelling from the rooftops about it usually be gay. And they've never been in supportive environments to be themselves. A lot of y'all have trauma that has never healed from you expressing feminine traits of yourself. This is why we have men who create laundry lists of shit of this is what's now gay. Same with women. Y'all do the same shit. Y'all put men into boxes and say, if you do this, you gay. I heard men say washing your face is gay. When niggas found out I had a face care routine, a skin care routine, nigga, that's gay. Do y'all see the skin? Like, get into the vibes. Like, what? It was a shorty on Instagram the other day talk about something. If you fall asleep on your homeboy driving and you in the passenger seat and you fall asleep, that's gay. What? Y'all told kids who wanted to get cooking materials that if it's a boy playing with that material, that's gay. Y'all just associate so many things with, I think, personal insecurities, personal things you were never able to do or exude comfortably. And if a lot of Black men specifically made it comfortable and more normalized to express fucking emotions, a lot of y'all wouldn't have these feelings about the LGBT community because y'all see niggas crying out they gay. You get what I'm saying? I think this will combat a lot of people who cheating. A lot of y'all who cheat don't like women to begin with, but you're stuck in what society has told you to do, despite the feelings you have. All this DL stuff. Y'all getting exposed left and right. I find it crazy, and a lot of the things we do today is perpetuated from the stuff the OGs established. So Black men, we have some trauma to heal. Black men, we have some inner workings to do and some comfortabilities within ourselves to get associated with. A lot of people don't like being by themselves and working through their shit. But when your first comment when a gay person come around is don't bring it over here, they weren't even looking at you. They didn't even talk to you. So you're so hyper-focused on this motherfucker's presence. I am led to believe you either want to fuck, you either want to fight, or the lip gloss they got on you want to wear, okay? And that's it, because your anger's coming from something. The anger's coming from something. I see some of my trans girls, too. Y'all find out it's a fine thing walking, and she turned out to be trans. Now you want to fight. Now you want to fight. Now you want to fight her. Why? You just wanted to have sex with her. Now you want to fight her? Now you want to kill her? Why? Why? We have to really get into these things. And Snoop, for your kids and for everybody who be concerned with the kids, oh my God, the kids. The leading cause of death in America is school shootings. Y'all are so concerned with trans people around kids. Y'all are so concerned with gay people around kids. Y'all have this mindset people are just P3DOs. Y'all are so brainwashed behind these things that you don't even take into account what the actual threats are, okay? For the kids, if people are asking questions, talk to them motherfuckers. Talk to the kids. Talk to them. Uncle Snoop, why? How she have a baby if it's a woman? Well, that's a hard one to navigate. I don't have all the answers to that. But long story short, those women are lesbians. And that's okay. There's a lot of ways that lesbians can have babies, but we'll have a conversation when you get a little bit older. I ain't got no damn kids. I would have been fine with that response. That's it. But to respond, oh shit, oh my God, y'all come never go with this. Half the shit y'all perpetuate is actually detrimental. Do they ask you about your old music, Snoop? Do they ask you about your hardcore rap days? Do they ask you about the joints and blunts and no? Okay. Well, I say this to say I'm close one out. Y'all stop being homophobic. Okay? I promise you it's okay to be gay. It's okay. God loves you. Okay? Don't allow people to create rhetorics and divisiveness around who you are as a person. And be sure to know you more than anything. And to my black man specific, I'm saying that. Know you more than anything. Because a lot of y'all issues y'all have with the LGBT space in general are truly things you have issues with yourself. What issue that is, I'll let you be the judge of. But you got some reflecting to do. All right, Snoop? And then for that comment you made, that was you. Because you knew. That was you. And I respect that. Because you an older man. I get it. You didn't know how to respond to some shit. Cool. People shouldn't flip out all the time. Cool. It was a comment. You had an opportunity to learn and the moment to learn. So learn. That's it. People gonna fuck up. People gonna say the wrong pronouns sometimes. People gonna do, be perpetual to the things society has already put in place. That's okay. As long as they're open to be educated and can actually change and adapt, because this is not new. None of this stuff is new. That's the last time I'll say. None of this stuff is new. Being gay ain't new. Being trans ain't new. Being lesbian is not new. It's just more accepted. People are more comfortable being themselves. That's a testament to society growing, but at the same time, it does not make it a fad. It does not make it a trend. It's regular life. And the faster I get able to learn that, the better y'all will sleep at night. Y'all have a good one. All right, so the last topic I have for today is Young Thug needs to shut the hell up. Young Thug needs to shut the hell up. So I'm going to read this article real quick for y'all. Because Young Thug just been, my God. So Young Thug claims he bought Gunna's #1 spot over the weekend in new audio. Now, y'all, this man has been leaked a few times in the last few days, okay, for a few topics. We'll get to that, but this one's first. So more leaks. That's the first sentence. More leaks of Young Thug's jail conversations continue to flood social media, with the latest making a huge claim that he paid for Gunna's #1 album. On Sunday, a jail conversation with Young Thug revealed that the rap star spent $50,000 on fake streams for Gunna's 2022 album, DS Forever, in its debut week to help reach #1 over the weekend's album, Dawn FM. The paid-for #1 allegation was mentioned when Thug revealed that Gunna was looking for a new record label deal, seeking $20 million. In the 5-minute audio, Thug revealed the following. When he did his 2-album deal with me, Cash called me one day like, hey, what y'all gonna do with Gunna? Who's speaking of them? I'm like, wanna? Oh no. You know he tried to get signed ready. Well, we can sign it. He demanded he want, $20 million. So I told him like, whatever you want, I'm going to give it to you. The money, whatever you want. Just on some we brother shit. Like, and I'm reading like this because this is how it's really tight, y'all. This is really, it is just so disjointed. Like, I know you can't go nowhere in this world and get no $20 million check from no label. He continued, you're not doing numbers like that. You are right, but you ain't doing it like that. Like the number one album you just had right now, I paid for you to have the number one album. You didn't honestly earn a number one album over the weekend, my boy. I paid for that shit. Never said anything to him. I never told him that, because we just got the plug on it. It's real like that, y'all. I just got the plug on it. Like, you never earned a number one ever. I spent 50 extra grand to buy you a motherfucking stream, 50,000 buying streams for you to be me. I don't know who the hell typed up this this word for word. Y'all should just put the audio clip in there, baby. But that was just, I don't read that no more. Anyway, clearly is under the fire. But Young Thug is claiming that he paid for all those things. Furthermore, like I mentioned before, there was other audios that leaked over the weekend as well, including a discussion with Young Thug discussing Pee Wee Roscoe in the tour bus shooting in 2015 with Lil Wayne, making fun of Gunna for taking a plea deal, which people find hypocritical because they said that Thug told Gunna to take a plea deal. The third one was Gunna sabotage for an album rollout. Like he was plotting to sabotage Gunna's rollout with dropping the album on the same date that Gunna was going to do an album. The fourth one was paying $50K in bots for Gunna's album. And then you clearly, from all these all these audio leaks, I think it's clear to say you don't fuck with Gunna. Now, I know folks are upset, or feel mixed, let me say that, feel mixed because Gunna took a plea deal during the RICO case and basically said YSL was a gang, right? And Young Thug and others stayed in jail during this time. Now, I'll break this down two ways, just because we have the street side, we have the public side, right? On the public side, this can look unhinged, right? It like Young Thug doing all this hating ass nigga shit, just being pissy, bitter, XYZ, right? But if he signed to your label, if he not selling that well, why is you still working with him? And they ain't gonna give him a $20 million check. My God, today. Now, the other side of that is the street side of things, right? It's a code. It's a code, meaning talk about, meaning live in. And, I was always taught, stay on the sidewalk because they was made for civilians for a reason. Okay, they made for pedestrians for a reason. Certain hood nigga shit, I do wish people would just put two and two together. Certain shit is stupid. Certain shit is so dumb in that street space. I don't get it. You taking raps for niggas for fun. You just, I'm taking to the code. Shut the fuck up sometimes. Okay, sometimes be for real. Y'all going to bat and dying over people who will let you hang, child. People who do not care. Okay, and that's just the space I think folks should tread lightly in, because when you are in that space, ain't no such thing as love. The only thing I trust is this pistol and these slugs. That's Young Dolph. Okay, when you really in the streets for real, it's not a glamorized thing. It's some sad, traumatizing shit. Some sick, crazy shit. Some shit you would never be able to go back to sleep for. You will see some things. Okay, and when it comes to that blending into hip hop, it's hard to detach the two because it's such a cultural norm in hip hop. Why? I don't know. But my assumption will come from the history of the rise of hip hop. It came from a place of poverty. Okay? Hip hop started with the Grandmaster Flash and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? The Fab Five, I believe the names was. You know what I mean? So starting to get into that space, it came from an area of inner city folks. You know what I mean? It carried out and started to evolve. And then we had the 90s, in the 2000s, and the 80s, the late 80s too. When we had, Ice Cube, you know what I'm saying? Snoop Dogg, Nas, Tupac, Biggie, all these people who were upholding a culture, right, of gang shit. You know what I mean? And doing it in music. So when you have whole coasts beefing with each other, people died. You get what I'm saying? Like, these are heavily intimidating spaces, and that street culture is very much ingrained into hip hop. Even today, trap music, you know what I'm saying? Drill music. When you go to New York, when you go to Detroit, when you go to Milwaukee, when you go to Chicago, you hear all these songs. Like I said the last podcast, my fofo will make sure all your kids don't grow. Okay? It's a hard thing. And my mentality behind it has always been, the goal is to get out the streets. The goal is to get out the hood. The goal is to get out the projects. When you get out the projects, out the hood, out the streets, when you get out of it, why do you do shit to stay in it? That's the part that gets me, and I don't understand it. I'm not one of them niggas. I don't know. But people that I'm affiliated with, folks that I talk to, cousins, family members, friends, who in all these different spaces, I always ask them questions like, why? What the hell? Why? Why are you doing that? Why? And I never really got a clear direct answer. It's just the thing people feel obligated to. And we need to realize, more likely than not, people really give a damn about what the next person thinks. People really give a damn about what the next person got to say about them. And they want to be respected. People see it as a space of respect. So that's what I'm saying. Like, for the new YNs of today, it ain't got really no method to the madness. The YNs of today are just YNs. They're just niggas with ski masks on. They not about that stuff for real. But when you meet people who really like that, like, it's a code of conduct that folks operate in, and people don't always do that. So when you think about this case with Thug, Gunna, YSL, the whole Rico, all that kind of stuff, think about how these things intertwine. And from that street side, people can be mad at Gunna because he broke the code. From the public side, the real world side of things, what the hell? I'm not sitting in no court, no jail cell for you, Rich. What you talking about? But what I am gagging about is the fact that Thug is on this man's head like that. And in my mind, from a business owner perspective, if you so tired of Gunna in his sense, just let him go. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't... I don't follow this story up to date, so maybe he already did. But in my head, it's like, just don't work with the man. If you feel he ain't selling, you spending your money to buy bots and shit, like, what? Get him out of here. But you doing all this stuff in such a spiteful way. And I just feel like Thug, it's fucking you up. It's fucking your reputation up. It's messing it up. The view, the image, it's messing it up. And then my cousin was on a podcast a few episodes ago. And just gave Thug one of his greatest, inspirations for his music and stuff. Not because of the street shit, but because of his artistry. But you have to think too about how your artistry and your character blend together. People be saying, I can separate the artist and the art. Sometimes you can't. Because that goes into your art. This case is stupid. This article is a little stupid too, no shade. But it just really shows you, again, things that go on behind the scenes, because people be thinking this shit don't happen. We have a hateful, spiteful motherfuckers behind the scenes playing in your face. I said this before on the podcast, and when we get into creative advice, I'll cover this a little bit more. But think about that. Thug, do better. Shut the hell up. Just be quiet. Stop talking on the phone. Okay, the minute you start to notice people, all these damn leaks, stop calling people. Have conversations in person. I gotta see you. You gotta record with you, because clearly, people don't give a damn about your boundaries. You on a call with 21 Savage? Oh, baby. Sir, just be quiet. Now, lastly, for our last segment of the day, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet and to the point. For creative advice, we're going to get into the cost of stardom and fame, because I feel like this is prevalent in all of the cases we had discussed today, all of the topics we discussed today. Now, I've shared on this podcast before, and I've shared it before on Artist Spotlight and stuff with other artists, that sometimes it's growing in your career comes at the sacrifice of other things, right? And it's not just music. It's not just music. Let me say that. It's not just music. It's not just the industry. Not just Hollywood. This is anything. You have to be able to dedicate time, energy, effort to something. And when you're doing that to one thing, something else is not getting your attention, time, energy, and effort. So when people are multitasking, one of the biggest things people are concerned with doing is burnout, because they're doing too much at once, but also people falling off in certain things. If you ever notice people who are really busy will maybe excel at one thing, start forgetting other things. Oop, I forgot that was happening today. Oop, I forgot to turn that in. Oop, I forgot to do this. Because it's so much moving around. Now, when it comes to fame alongside your career space, not only are you doing all of these things, but now you have people on your ass. They watching you. They visibly. And it's levels to fame. It's levels to stardom. Yes, it is. I know we're in a time today where people want to think influencers, a couple thousand followers, a couple million followers on social media gives you the stardom. No, Bookie. TikTok is cool. Instagram is cool. But certain stardom, most of us would never know about. Certain stardom is like Whitney Houston. That's a level of stardom a lot of folks can't think about. Donald Trump, regardless how you feel about this nigga, that's a level of attention and focus a lot of us will never know about. And when you're in those spaces, especially in the music industry or in Hollywood, it comes with sacrifices. It comes with costs. So when you start growing in your career, and you on tour, right? You got so many fans, millions of fans. You're doing stadium tours. You on tour for the next 2 years. Your family ain't gonna see you. You're gonna miss out on the kids' birthdays. You gonna miss out on Buddy Boy graduation. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna miss things on a familial sense. On top of that, and it's the more conspiracy, I'll give you that conspiracy behind the scenes. That's just the personal attributes, family time, things like that, friend time, stuff like that. But also, some of these industries got rites of passage, if you want to call them that. And them sacrifices become a lot more stringent. It's a movie coming out soon called Him, produced by Jordan Peele. And I believe the concept of the movie is about a football player or a person who wants to be a football player, and they end up attracting a coach who is willing to coach them and make them the greatest football player of all time. But through the trailer, you quickly start to learn there's other things besides football this boy gonna have to go through. He gonna have to endure, and he gonna have to deal with and accept in order to get to the top spot of football. Now, the question people usually don't ask themselves is what they are willing to do and or accept. What are you willing to do and or accept when you are leading in these spaces? Music, Hollywood has always had this secondary lens, right? We see what's happening in the real world, people manipulating and, kissing ass and buying awards and shit like that. We can see that, the corruption of this of people. And I had a chat with ChatGPT about this because I wanted to see AI's thoughts on it. When it comes to that spiritual side or the occult side of things, I asked Chat specifically, with all that you know about the music industry and things like that, is it a reasonable stance to believe that there are spiritual or occult things in play or in influence around Hollywood and creators and certain things like that? And Chat said it's an absolutely solid stance. Not only because the thing, especially when it comes to music, when it comes to music, music is intertwined into all cultures. Music is rooted in the culture specifically of black people. I'm focus on black people for a second. When you go see the movie Sinners, Preacher Boy, his whole archetype, his whole character is a person who plays the guitar so good. He can split the veil between this reality and the next. That's something that's present in a lot of culture. Frequency, sound is another thing. I talked about this Baby Syph on Artist Spotlight. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. This not only is present in music, but this was actually used during the Soviet Union and people, researching frequencies that will tap into your mind, into the subconscious to influence your thoughts, your beliefs, how you move, what you're doing. You have government agencies like the CIA putting out documentation from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, telling you in reports, official briefings, that they're working with witches and warlocks and people who have spiritual pull, people who have spiritual ties to things, people who can tap into things, not only on a working side, but when it comes to sounds, subliminal messaging, hypnotizing. I believe, who was it? Was it Israel? No, it was Iran. That said they were interested in releasing sleeper agents. That's a form of hypnotism. We have to start being aware of what goes into these things. Whether you're aware of it or not, it can play a role, especially if you're in these industries. So that cost of stardom, it has that physical layer, that personal layer. Can you be away from your family for so XYZ type of time? Are you okay being booked and busy for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months? Are you okay sleeping in that car on the way to your next show for 20 minutes? You get what I'm saying? That's just the physical labor. That's just the personal side of sacrifice you have to think about. But on top of that, are you spiritually ready, protected, covered to maneuver these spaces? It's a thing. And fame and stardom is crazy. We've seen it from decades. You've seen people OD, folks just jump off buildings, folks just crash out, folks have it all then have nothing. It's a journey. It's a game. And I would encourage y'all to go look up the faves and watch some of their interviews. Michael Jackson, prime person who talked about what goes on behind the scenes. Prince, who was known for writing Slave on his head. You know what I'm saying? When you get into debates and legal pursuits and battles with label owners and execs and companies, it's a lot. It's a lot. On top of all of this shit being spun by the media, put out in the media, you don't know what's true, what's false, what's being said. Anyone with a phone, computer, tablet can go ahead and just make some shit up about you. Now we in TikTok era too. They can just say, oh, I met so-and-so and now this was It's so much shit. And on top of having millions of people see it all. And that's the part. They only see what social media shows, what the media portrays. So that cost of stardom is something people really have to think about, especially if they're pursuing a career in the music industry or in the fashion industry. It's a lot to go behind the scenes. You could have a great time, but you could also be in living hell. So I would encourage y'all to read, watch interviews, learn, and not learn just about the people that you see in the main stage, right? The people that you see in the forefront. See who behind them. See who that producer is. See who that A&R was. See who that lawyer was for that one case. Is that the same lawyer for that case? I don't know. But just realize the cost of fame and stardom is going to be paid. And if you're not equipped for that space, you can learn, you can grow. But I say walk in light, always. Walk in light, you'll be forever protected. The road may be a little longer. Walking in that light, I ain't going to lie to you. The road may be a little bit longer to achieve the success and growth that you want to get to, but it's worth it. And I would really encourage y'all to stay on that light path as best as you can. As best as you can. That'll be y'all for creative advice on today. So, y'all, with that being said, this will conclude episode 10 of Royal Voices podcast. Yeah. You know, I am so excited that we are at this episode. If you've noticed, Artist Spotlight, like I said before, I'm pivoting. We are in September. Okay, we are in September. I'm coming out with some new rollouts for stuff. I'm changing the show. I'm changing the show once again. I want to be able to incorporate more people, not just people who are just creatives, right? People who just, want to be on the podcast, one, but I want to make sure it's delivered in a way that still aligns with our brand, our mission, our vision. I don't want this to be just a gossipy ass space. I don't want this to be just a space we're talking about bullshit and we're just like, what are your thoughts on this bullshit? I don't give a damn. Okay. I want to have genuine, authentic conversations. I want to be able to uplift people. I want to be able to, laugh, kiki, ha ha, educate a little bit. But I still want this to be rooted in kingdom. I still want this to be rooted in creative pursuits. I want this to be rooted in entrepreneurialism. I want this to be rooted in Black culture. Okay. And I want this to be a space where everybody is uplifted, where everybody has a chance to speak. And I want to make sure that the way in which people who may not even allow that creative space can jump in is making sense. Okay, so we'll be having more soon. Artist Spotlight will be returning soon. And y'all, I'm just stacking up. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been meeting with some folks, and we're just gonna roll them bitches out when it's time to roll them bitches out. But as we continue into the fall and we go into the winter of this year, I'm just excited to continue the podcast going. Our season finale will probably be around end of November, early December. I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know. But I'm just excited for season 2 to be just going so strong. And thinking about content in between episodes, y'all. I know y'all be like, damn, it's 2 weeks. Every damn 2 weeks we only on episode 10. Yeah. We started in April this year. So, but I do want to have things in between that to kind of settle that thirst, that desire for your boy, the dose of king. You know what I mean? So with that being said, make sure y'all stay up to date with everything we're doing by following our socials on Instagram at KVNGDOM.co, on Instagram and TikTok for the brand, for the podcast, Royal Voices Podcast, all one word, on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube. And then following your host, that would be King Jay. That would be me on Instagram at _JAYTHEDON_. And the link tree in my bio has access to everything I get involved in. Like I said before, Scary Hours coming October 31st. Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying it so then I can make the rollout for it this month. I'm trying to get a single out this month too. So it's just a lot going on, but we gonna get it done. October 31st, Scary Hours coming y'all way. And just a little what too, because I got a couple of tricks up my sleeves. So this will be we'll get into it. So look out for that. And then lastly, of course, Kvngdom.com, KVNGDOM.com. Go get your Kingdom Essentials today. More things will be coming this fall as well. I thank y'all so much for tuning in, locking in with the kid. Share the video, clip the moment that you like the most. And we're going to be adding more to this. Okay? So as I said before, and I'll continue to say, thank y'all. I love y'all. I like y'all. I like y'all. Continue being great. Continue doing great things. And remember, we reign forever. Y'all have a good one.